Welcome back to our journey through the Bible. Today, we continue with the second chapter of the book of Genesis, a narrative that complements the cosmic scale of Genesis chapter 1. In this chapter, we witness the creation of the first man and woman, and the establishment of the Garden of Eden. In Genesis chapter 2, God concluded his work of creation, resting on the seventh day. He blessed this day, the Sabbath day, and declared it holy, for on it he rested from his work of creation, setting it apart as a special day of rest. This provides us with our first lesson, the principle of Sabbath rest. This encourages us to find rest and rejuvenation, aligning our lives with God's rhythmic pattern of work and rest. The narrative then turns to the formation of the first human, Adam, from the dust of the ground. God breathed into him the breath of life, signifying our intimate connection with God, our Creator. It speaks to the dignity and sacredness of human life. We're not merely physical beings, but spiritual ones, endowed with God's breath, marking our existence as sacred. The Garden of Eden, a paradise watered by a river teeming with all kinds of trees, was crafted by God as man's dwelling. In the midst of the garden were the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This idyllic garden offers a glimpse of God's generosity and the abundance of his provision. Next, God tasked Adam with tending and keeping the Garden of Eden, underscoring our responsibility for the environment. This divine commission reinforces our role as stewards of the earth, entrusted with its care and preservation. God instructed Adam that he was free to eat from any tree in the garden, except for one, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This tree was to remain untouched, for on the day that Adam ate from it, God warned, he would certainly die. This commandment introduces the concept of divine law and free will. Despite living in a paradise abundant in nourishment, there was one restriction, a boundary that God set. Adam, though he was given free will, was expected to exercise obedience to his Creator's command. This highlights the balance between God's sovereignty and human free will, reminding us of the importance of obedience and the consequences of disobedience. This pivotal moment foreshadows the events to come, setting the stage for humanity's first act of disobedience and the profound consequences that follow. As we reflect on this, we learn about personal responsibility, the nature of temptation, and the significance of obeying God's commands and seeking Him as our source of divine wisdom rather than other sources. Realizing that it is not good for man to be alone, God formed every creature and brought them to Adam to name. However, none proved to be a suitable helper. Consequently, God created woman from one of Adam's ribs. Lastly, God instituted marriage with the creation of the first couple, where man leaves his father and mother to bond with his wife. They were naked and felt no shame, signifying the transparency and innocence of their relationship, and demonstrating the world before sin or shame. The sanctity of marriage is highlighted, symbolizing the unity and mutual trust between man and woman. Genesis chapter 2 reiterates God's role as the divine craftsman, not only fashioning the physical universe but also initiating human relationships and societal institutions. It reinforces the sacredness of human life, the importance of rest, our responsibility for the environment, and the significance of companionship and marriage. As we close this chapter, let us carry these lessons with us, allowing them to shape our relationships with God, each other, and the world we inhabit. Until our next biblical journey, may peace and blessings be upon you all.